Welcome to Mandorla. We humbly invite you on a journey with us as we explore and deep dive in what it means to be human through this great time of awakening, generously sharing wisdom and practical tools that have helped us on our path of ascension, introducing other conscious leaders within our community to expand the collective mind to new possibilities.
Mandorla inspires us to become balanced in body and soul, feminine and masculine, physical and spiritual, creating a bridge between heaven and earth. Within this podcast, we will be communicating with all parts of ourselves, understanding our true essence, discovering our life's calling, transforming and healing ourselves and the people around us. Without further ado, let us begin. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mandorla. I'm Katrina Allen. This is Katrina McKechnie and we are in the heart chakra today. So this season being about solutions, there is a conversation that is about to go down about heart solutions apparently.
And we've had to shift it this week because we have a beautiful friend's birthday on tomorrow, which we're going to go dance out, which we're really excited about. But it has got us to shift the day today to Monday, which is the root chakra. So typically we're looking at safety and survival and fear. And so combining these two, it kind of gave us a little bit of an idea on something that, maybe if we're having a look at, stepping into our hearts, if there is anything in the root chakra, which is also typically, ancestral, it's your roots to this land. And so all of those things.
Like the foundations.
And the structures of which we live. And I think that if we're looking into the heart, I've realised that I say I think a lot. And so I'm going to call the elephant in the room and I'm probably going to laugh every time I say it.
I thought you said I feel. You picked up on I feel.
Oh, I do say I feel.
So every time
I've got a new one.
Every time she says I think and I feel, we'll be like.
Yeah, I don't think I... There it is again. All right. Maybe this episode's going to be a little bit playful.
Okay.
Which is something that we have been talking about this morning and realizing that Earth doesn't have to be hard lessons. It can be a playground. Yeah. And I believe that our heart chakra is a place of which that we can start to explore these things.
Yeah, there's two. I've heard it said two ways, which is Earth is our playground, or Earth is our schoolyard or school. And I'm going to choose playground from here on in because I like that a lot more. But our hearts, oh my gosh, our hearts can lead us to the next blessing and creative opportunity and play and fun and expansion and expression. It's when we talk about being in the root chakra, that is like our structures and our foundations that have kept us safe and kept us alive and kept us functioning till now, but they can be a little outdated for where our hearts are trying to take us, right? Yep. So at the moment, my daughter is in between jobs. So she's 17, about to turn 18 in not too long, which is super exciting. But she's in between jobs right now. And the way I'm guiding her is that just listen to your heart in each moment.
Yep.
Like, just listen to your heart. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? Like, where do you want to go? And in moment by moment, every time she does that, it leads to the next opportunity that she could never have planned, right? And so absolutely, I'm like, I wish I had been guided like that at 17 because my life would have been very, very different. However, it doesn't mean that things don't come up when we do follow our hearts, like, oh, no one else is doing this. Oh, what if I create this life for myself and I don't have anyone available to share this life with?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going and doing the fun things while my friends are over here living a totally different way.
Yeah.
And so what if I don't have any money? If I don't go searching for a job straight away and I'm not going to get paycheck, know when my next paycheck is, then like, how am I going to, support myself? All these structural not sures that come up and feed fear or in the past can like take us off our heart's path, right?
Yeah, and I want to speak to the elephant in the room right now because I can feel like the resistance to living like this, because there are a lot of stories of, okay, well, who's going to pay my rent? How am I going to put food on the table? Like, and all of these things. And I think it's important to address those things and not go that they don't exist. And the only way that I can reflect to this, because I haven't yet created in my reality a life where I'm choosing moment by moment, and that, like, it takes a lot of full trust to choose that.
Oh, yes.
A lot of like internal conversations, like really allowing you to like hold on to that, knowing that this is the path forward, because we have lived in like that survival for so long. And the best way that I can actually help explain it, because it is something that I've actually worked through, lived through, and understand now, is I was stuck in the constraints of time really bad. And I remember I had a coach at the time, and she was saying to me, you need to add this into your day and this into your day. And at the time I was a breastfeeding mum. I was trying to figure out how I could get everything done in a day. And then she was trying to say to me, add. And I'm like, oh, no, I actually need to slow. All the things that she was asking me to add, I was saying I don't have enough time for, because I was stuck in this belief that time was limited and that I couldn't fit it in. And I think is it Eckhart Tolle? The Time Is Now, I think, his book. I ended up reading that, and it was so far stretch from where my mind is now, or where my mind was at the time. It was hard for me to hold on, but I prefer, so I don't prefer to read. I prefer to listen to audio. And I just listened and thought, I'm just going to absorb it. And I started to realize that when I was choosing the things that the coach was saying to me moment by moment, somehow my day, I still did all the things, yet instead of filling it with all the things that felt structural, like I have to do this, I was putting more things in there that gave me joy. And the day felt like I still had so much time to do all those other things. And so I feel like I was able to learn trust through that. And now when my body tells me, root chakra, go into survival, no, you don't, you won't have time for that, I'm able to push past it and now and go, no, I really trust that if I do this, I am going to have. So I feel like it's relevant to following our hearts, moment by moment, and trusting that we'll still have the money to pay the rent, that we're still going to be able to put food on the table.
And it's just fine tuning. Like, I'm not saying that don't work. I'm saying wait until you know what you want to do and how you want to be spending your day, so that work feels like Earth is your playground, you know, like, because she has a lot of passions and she has a lot of things that mean a lot to her. She's not your average surface person, like, she's deep. So I'm like, well, honey, follow your heart, because it will show you, you know what, you love the ocean, go spend time with the ocean, and you're going to find other people that love the ocean. And then if you want to do conservation, then network, pick up rubbish, do whatever it is, because that will lead you to, when we have that solitude and that time too, which she's blessed to have right now, that's when your drop-ins come in. That's when you have your next inspired idea of how you can take conservation in a direction that lights you up, so that every day it's not, oh, here we go, another day, alarm clock's gone off. It's like, oh, I cannot wait to do what I'm going to do for the day. That's how we deserve to live. And if you're on path, then you are jumping out of bed, because every day is going to look different. You don't know what your day is going to bring. The worst thing is that we get into these mundane cycles and groundhog days, and there's nothing worse. That's stuff that kills your soul. And I feel like we've created it from safety, from those structural safety of
absolutely.
Regurgitation, and people literally believing that this is life. This is, everyone else does it. This is just, it's like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And I know too much to not really be passionate and encourage others as well as myself every single day. Like, I already think I live the most amazing life now. And far out, when I reflect of where I came from, that was not my story like a long time ago. But I I'm not even touching on the surface of what's possible. Like, you know, I've got like, I'm nearly 40, but I've got like a whole lifetime ahead of me that I'm so excited for, because I just don't know. I can't know.
Yeah.
My heart's going to take me all the way to the highest potential, but doesn't mean that I don't wobble my way through it too. And that's where I'm witnessing her doing the same. It's like, there's new uncharted waters, and we're following your heart means you potentially going against the grain. It means that you're by yourself for a little bit. It means that you could possibly get projection from others that are not allowing themselves that same permission to do the same. This is all stuff that builds us stronger, though, and opportunity.
I'm getting a real visual coming through at the moment. I'm trying to find the words for it. It's basically, it's the ocean, right? If we were the ocean, because we're not separate, and it's like sometimes the tides are really high and sometimes the tides are really low, and sometimes there's like weather that creates it to be like chaos out there, and sometimes it's playful, and like it's all the things, but it doesn't actually look at it in a way of like, oh, I'm in chaos today. Like,
it just flows with it.
It just flows with it. It just is what it is. And I feel like that's really relatable. There's my I feel like. It's really relatable to what we're talking about, because it's just going moment by moment. It's not like trying to be something steps ahead. And it gets to just be. And I think that is what we're all looking for in this life, right?
Yeah. And just being in the mess of it. And again, we could have already talked through some of this stuff, but like my kids both, so 17 and 14, are asking me, not voicing it, but their bodies are like literally so loud that they want to be their own gurus, which is what we talked about. Like, they want to lead their own lives, and I'm the biggest one to encourage that, right? I've raised them to be like, you've got the answers. Like, I can't know what you want to do for the rest of your life, or I can't even know what you want to do in the next moment. Like, that's individual, right? That's their hearts sharing that with me. But I've also, my heart wants them to create the most epic life for them. It doesn't mean that I'm not wobbling through those fears too, of like, hang on, what's my job as a parent again? If I release all of that to them, like, what if something goes wrong? Something, you know, like, I'm still fumbling my way through that too. But we're in this like new area within our family where we're all like, okay, if life is our playground and we're going to live by our hearts, then how do we support ourselves through what's coming up? And how do we support others to support themselves through what's coming up? Because that's the goal, right? We, of course, naturally want to support others, but we can't truly know how to do that until we know how to support ourselves. And this is where we are literally navigating that. I had that this morning. Like, I'm literally had to take a moment and be like, okay, like, I nearly spilt my coffee and I was like tripping over everything, and I was like, hang on, take a moment. Where am I not supporting myself right now? And that's a learning process. Like, I asked myself the question, but it didn't mean that I knew the answers. I literally just have to sit with that now and be like, what is that going to look like for me to support myself in new areas?
Yeah, and I really like that whole sort of like not supporting others. I think because everybody has their own innate wisdom, and there's nothing more powerful than them realizing that they've got everything they need, which is what you've displayed. Like, you were able to support yourself. You didn't need the other person to support you, because you actually have all of the answers for yourself. And so, yeah, I feel like the support, what we're communicating about when we're saying to be supportive of others is actually to direct them back to their own wisdom that lies within, because we're all individuals having a completely different, unique experience. And what you may have gone through this morning, if if I literally played that out, my reality where it would have taken me may have been completely different, because my body's root chakra is actually working on something different to see, to clear, to bring light, to step more into the heart, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like literally going to go somewhere, and then it like blanked.
Oh, it blanked.
It blanked.
So before I got on here, I understood that blank. I was like, everything's void in my head at the moment. I wonder whether we want to communicate into that. And I feel like this is like trusting ourselves in every moment. And I got to witness myself the other day go into this blank in conversation. And it was one of those, I don't know this person very well. And it was one of those moments where I was like in my head going, say something, Katrina. And I could not. There was like nothing coming through to say. Like I couldn't even make something up. Like it was that void in my head. And afterwards, I was like, supporting myself, and initially I went into the, oh my God, why did I do that? And then it literally within minutes I realized I couldn't hear my daughter talking to me, and I was completely in my head, and I was like, hang on, come back to self right now. What was actually right about that? What like it's trusting self, right? And not having to figure out why your mind's blank right now, but maybe that's the perfect opportunity for something.
And it is like, you just helped me understand so much. It's that I might have even said it on last week's episode, because this is really real for me right now. I feel like I'm a passenger in my own body. Like someone else is in the driver's seat, I'm in my driver's seat, but I feel like my body is just taking charge, and our bodies hold so much innate wisdom. Like we think the body is just a body, that like the, you know, the spiritual aspect kind of made me perceive that we've got spirits in the body, and our body is kind of just our vehicle, but it's got an innate wisdom in it of its
Stored,
own, right?
Yeah, in cells and
literally. Yep. And I'm watching mine just show up in a way that is like it's got its own agenda, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the passenger seat, which is why when you went blank the other day, it's the same. It's like, oh, my body's actually just really trying to show me something right now. And I think that's such a powerful tool to use if you can't get it wrong. And this is where I'm like, I love observing my children and everybody and being like, okay, if I know that your body's wise and it's shown up like that for a reason, what could be perfect for that, right? And when we are void of thoughts, the thoughts, as history, not always, but as history goes down, it's like we stored all these fears and things that can take over, right? Or they can sabotage or take things personal, or be like, that person must be thinking da 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 da. It can get really busy and literally distract us from what's important in the moment, which is what you were saying. Like your daughter was trying to talk to you, but your thoughts were taking you off. Like actually your body was so genius in like literally wiping everything so that you could be in the present moment, feel all the things. So you kept, it's not a coincidence, I don't believe, that you were like, bringing to the surface that you feel, right?
Yeah.
We can feel our way. And this is where, if we're feeling at where our heart's taking us, it's actually, I believe, in my own experience, it can take you a completely different path, a more aligned, more authentic, more empowering path than our heads can. Because our heads live a lot based on information from the past.
The root chakra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or other people's chatter. Yeah?
Yeah.
You might have been told something at 3 years old from someone, and you have literally taken that on, and that can play over and over in your head, but your heart's not going to tell you the same thing.
No.
Your heart's going to be like, actually, we want to go there. And the head's like, but we could fall off the cliff. And your heart's like, we could jump off the cliff and it could be gnarly. Like,
yeah,
right?
It's one of those things that like they talk about when, you know, if you've had a bad relationship, a lot of people after a bad relationship will come at their next relationship from here, and then they get to a point where they're like, oh, like I'm worried because I think I'm in love, but I don't want to like lose myself again. And it's like, if you act, that is all the fear from the past relationship. That's all mind thinking, not feeling. Feel it and know that love is going to come and love is going to go, but you've got you. It's like, if you know how to support yourself, because what you're avoiding if you stay in your head is ever experiencing it all. Like, you may miss the most profound love that you've ever been able to have in this lifetime if you are in your head and not in your heart. So you may miss like the playground of life if you're in your head and not following or feeling with your heart. And I think that our body as well is like, you know, if we're in the feeling body, we'll feel when our intuition's on or off and be like, oh, something doesn't feel right about this. If we're moving into new ways of existing and new ways of living and not calling like the new earth a school, but more so a playground, then we're going to have to do things differently. And yeah, maybe it's not a coincidence that like prior to hopping on here today, I'm like, I say I feel a lot, but actually if I look at that feeling, that's my body communicating. It's nothing to do with my mind. It's actually just my body saying, this is how I'm feeling in this moment.
And the feeling is the guide. That's the guidance. That, to me, that's the GPS system. If you're feeling good about something, go in that direction. If you're not feeling good about something, then do not go in that direction, right? That is how I literally, because my body is hypersensitive, I think a lot of us are once we really tune in and are in our bodies, right? That is our guidance system to go yes or no. I think thinking is absolutely incredible for working out finer details.
And if it's in coherence, I feel it comes from here and then we make our move from there, as opposed to the opposite way around. And that's what I see. Heart coherence is, we can use our minds as long as they're being led by our hearts, not the other way around.
And what we touched on last week was like, you know, we were looking for that spark, or what is it that actually motivates people and gives them that zest of you know, wanting to do more and be more and show up more, which was relationships, right? And so like the example you just gave is that if you have past thoughts about relationships, your heart's saying, oh, I'm being pulled, I'm feeling something about this person, but your head goes, nope, dangerous, we got past, like it can really work against us. So I guess like even now in this moment, we can make a decision to be more conscious of where our thoughts are actually leading us astray, and then we get to tweak them, and instead of them keeping us safe where we don't live in the same reality as where they were actually bred from. Like a lot of us, it is very outdated. It's not even real, right? So if we can recreate those thoughts, and when I say create, I actually mean be creative. We want to use our thoughts for creation versus survival. Like we are in a different time. We are not in those ancient times where we have to go and kill that thing for food, otherwise our family. We are not in that anymore, but still we are regurgitating functions and patterns and programs in our brains that are still literally living from those times. We don't need to anymore. And nobody has to believe what I'm saying in this moment. You can literally practice it in a safe way for you to see very quickly that is actually true. I had a moment, or had a period of time last year where I practiced. I just had to go full trust, and I literally let my heart lead every moment, and the most miraculous things that I could never have imagined just kept amplifying. And it was the scariest, most profound time of my whole life, because I literally had to drop everything that was keeping me safe. And I chose a situation, but it chose me. And anyway, it was very quickly that I was like, oh my God, life is miraculous. We are in our own ways. This can literally, it's scary as hell, but I'm a testament to just try it. Try it for a week. Try it for a day. Let your heart, and I think there's a misconception too that people think that following their heart is all like all play, right? But when actually work can be play too. It's the, you and I both live in the, what people perceive as the depths and the dark and the negative, just as beautifully we utilize that. That is our playground as well as the light and the finer moments. So yes, we might have little tantrums when we have to do technology. I'm talking for me. When I have to do technology stuff, I'll have a little tantrum. But if my heart has led me to wanting to achieve that, then I'm like, okay, let's go in. Let's utilize this. My heart wants to do it. There's room for growth here. How can I make it fun?
Yeah. I've been really exploring lately, and I just didn't even realize that there were avenues of this. Like, I was very blocked in the past with this. And so I've had a, what is it? It's not like an I am statement, but like an affirmation on my mirror in my bathroom for maybe 6 or 7 years now. And it says, I delegate to elevate. And that was because 6, 7 years ago, I was in my masculine where I was like, I have to do everything myself. And so as the years have been going on, and because I look in that mirror every day, I'd be subconsciously continuing to reprogram that part of myself. And I have been following what has absolutely by far on this earth been my greatest joy project, when it would be deemed as work in creating right now a retreat. And it literally is like I'm saying to my family, oh, I've just got to go work for a bit. And I'm in here like looking up places to go and what to do, and just like the actual joy of which that brought me. And then I would hit like areas where I'm like, oh man, I've got to get medical forms, dietary forms, agreement forms, and it's all like that more structural part. And I thought to myself, oh, here we go. Here's the hard stuff. That's what like my mind went to. And then I was like, actually, I wonder if there's a way that I don't have to actually create this. Just by me making that decision in that moment and not being how I used to be, where I'm like, I've got to do everything. It started a conversation with someone who's like, hey, I don't know if they do, but do you want to get in contact with this person? They may be able to point you on the track of like to make that a little bit easier. And I ended up finding someone who's like, I could get that, all of those forms. Like there was like 5 forms that had to be done. I could get them done in like an hour for you. And I was like, take my money. And so even in the harder things, we can delegate. If it's just like, I just actually don't want to do that, or I just don't want to have this relationship, or if I just don't, we get to choose that and remain in the playground of the fun. I'm still working. I'm still going to be paid for running the retreat, but I actually get to do it differently. And I didn't have that balance before. And I'm excited about what reality can look like if in each of these moments, I'm still choosing growth. I'm still going to have growth, but it's like, I get to choose it differently to how I used to. And I couldn't have seen that before. People told me, but I couldn't see it, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't ready.
And growth is such a human need. Like it is, and our hearts do desire that. So even when we're following our hearts, it doesn't mean just the same level of play the whole way. Like your heart is gonna lead you to the crunchy moments where it's asking you to become more. It's asking you to experience a different aspect of yourself, or what you came here, or what you've got to contribute, like your highest potential. That's the genius of following the heart.
And this is where I used to. So obviously I had been to enough crunchy moments in the past that it was just effortless this time to delegate. There wasn't a problem with it, right? Because I had, I guess, witnessed my root chakra of that structure before being so goddamn solid that I could not see when people would tell me that it could be easier. I could not see for the life of me, like the time thing of what they were saying. I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't work like that. And so I think through exploring many different things, it can show up in relationships, it can show up in work situations. It can show up in all of them, right? But I think I witnessed enough of them and went through enough of the crunchy moments that my creation can be different now. And it takes me back to the ocean. It's like the ocean is going to go through many different things. Stay present in every single moment. And eventually the water's going to become calm again. You know, like it's like what's really in my field at the moment, and some advice that I gave this morning, and I think the advice that we give is often for ourselves, is not having to work everything else out right now. Actually, right now, how I can just be present in this moment, because the growth's going to come. Everything that you're planning is going to be in its place at exactly the right time in the future moments. But right now I only have this present moment. So to stay in the presence of that allows me to remain in my heart, in the playground. I don't need to worry about 8 months time, what's going to happen, if it's going to work out.
Moment, right?
Yeah.
Because 8 months time is so unknown, and depending on how you choose to live moment by moment between now and 8 months time anyway, right?
And I can't create, I can only create in this moment with the time that I'm in right now. I can't it's not foresee, but like I can't possibly, my advice this morning was, I already know how amazing you are at creation. So why don't you just let the universe take care of everything for you and just be now with yourself right now and not be jumping forward. It's like, I can't know what possibly is going to be created, but I know I'm a damn good creator. Yeah. So how can I just remain, I'm getting hails in my head. Like, how can I just be in the moment now? Like when she's spending her time at the beaches, what is she actually receiving there? That it's so multifaceted. That she could be learning so much that actually is all a collection of all the genius she needed for whatever the position is that's waiting for her in the future. But you can't create that right now because all the pieces of the puzzle haven't come.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like I get really torn, and I'm still learning, because I was saying to my cousin the other day, which I have full compassion that we live different realities, but I've absolutely lived his reality where life is really tough right now. Like, you know, we've all been through those times where finance is like, you feel like you're already down and life just kicks you and kicks you and kicks you, right? And it just feels like a victim to it. And I haven't lived that reality for a very long time, because I saw something on a reel the other day, and I sent it to Haley, because it was like so simple but so profound, right? Never work harder on a job than you do on yourself. If you want to get any, because people work so hard in their jobs, right? But the answer is to work on yourself, and this is where I'm constantly working on myself, because everything reflects then the work that you do on yourself. And that is how I've got from the reality that I was witnessing a family member that I love to where I am now. I did not stop working on myself, and now the things that I remember as a distant memory that he's venturing through, it's a distant memory. It's like, I just know. And it's I'm building the confidence and the solidness to be like, this is everybody's reality. That when you align to your heart and what you deserve, and you keep working on yourself, and you keep bettering yourself as a human, and you contribute what you authentically have to contribute, life takes care of you. And we can't know how that's going to look, but 100% of the time, that is my reality. But it's because now I've experienced enough to relax and be like, oh yeah, the universe will take care of that, right? But if someone had told me that in his position, I probably wouldn't have had, it was too far a stretch for me. So where I'm learning right now is how do I keep supporting myself in the way that I live in order to support others with where they're at, right? And I'm still learning that, but I think it is supporting myself, because I'm like, I go through those crunchy stages of, okay, well, how do I speak my truth to you guys about the reality that I've created when there's so many people that are like in the stress of not living that. That's a vulnerable area for me to speak so solidly my heart's desire for absolutely everyone to have what I've created. It's been work, but it's not the work that the majority of society is doing for their boss to make the paycheck, to survive in the mundane things. It's the work on I will never stop working, becoming more and better and more fulfilled and more clear on what's important to me and how I can provide the wholesome moments that fill me with life. It's that.
Yeah.
So supporting myself, I feel like, once again, thank you, Mandorla, for offering this platform, because I'm learning as I'm speaking this out. It's when I can support myself with that conviction, then that solidness, everything is energy, right? That solidness conveys. And this is where I love the relationship I have with my cousin, that I did speak my truth with that. And I know that he knows that that's truth. That is my truth. And we have enough of a relationship for him to be like almost that spark of hope. And that's the spark from last week, right?
Yeah.
The relationship sparked that, okay, I'm down in the dumps right now, but maybe still is hope. And there absolutely is for anyone. It doesn't matter where you are in life, whether you are feeling like you're in the dirt of it, or if you're high flying. We've all been all of it, right? But we get to choose from our heart where we go next. Yeah.
And I think the biggest reason, and because I see this in my reality also now, the biggest reason is that people are feeling or get to a point of feeling so stuck is because they're resisting looking at self. They're going, that feels too hard, but it's the bottom chakra of how can we bring light into this so that this can transcend and not be our reality anymore. That's what you do really well. That's what I do really well. I'll have a look at what it is, not turn away from it, because really it is ourselves like creatively showing us what the limitation is. If we can have a look at that, if we can be with that, sometimes it's merely just being with the feeling of it and going, this feels horrible, but I'm actually just going to surrender to this feeling right now, that it can change like that. It doesn't have to even be a hard thing. It just is not resisting what you're being shown, because what you're being shown is being given to you as a limitation for you to get past so that you can actually have the reality that you want.
And half of our limitations are not even freaking real.
I don't think anything's real anymore.
There's so much that the head, thank you head, and thank you thoughts for keeping us alive, but there's so much that we make up that's not even real.
So this has been coming through for about half of the time that we've been talking here. That void in the brain, I think, is because we can't reattach to an old timeline of whatever that was linked to. That's what I've been getting the whole time we've been talking about this void. So it's like where the thoughts would have taken us, our bodies are like, we're not creating that way anymore. And so there's like a blankness because we don't know what the new creation is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I kind of, it does make sense, because going back to the innate wisdom of the body, I keep, it's contradicting. Again, I sound batshit crazy, but I'll think something and then my other thought will
this
be
thought
like,
says this and then this. Oh, don't worry. I've done this before.
It'll be like, no, I can't go back there.
Yeah.
So it's like I was living in this other space, and literally my body's directed, my heart's directing me one way, and my thoughts try to take me back there, and it's like I actually just physically can't go back to that reality anymore.
It actually, that allows you to, I've had so many inner conflicts, even just of late, like where it's like I'm actually battling a part of myself. And what I actually believe that to be is ego. So it's like my ego's going, that's not safe. And then I'm like, hey, no, we're not, like, I'm not. Yeah.
Of course, it would be ego. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
and so the heart's
spirit
like,
and ego.
Yeah, but the ego's going to keep my reality looking exactly how it looks right now, whereas my heart is going to take me to a whole new reality, and that's what I'm moving towards. That's where I want to go. And so instead of before my ego coming into my mind and me just blindly following it and going, yeah, you're right, like I shouldn't do that, that's not safe, it hasn't played out safe in the past, I'm actually seeing it and I'm having an inner battle with it and going, no, okay, thank you, but like, no, like we're going a different direction this time. And that's building a muscle. I think eventually that argument wouldn't exist because the ego would know we're not going to listen to it anymore anyway.
Yeah.
And we thank it for being there because it has been our safety. It has been there for a reason, but we're moving into new times and it's not necessary now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I was talking to my son this morning because he's, you know, like taking on this whole I'm going to lead myself aspect, which I'm really proud of him. But he's wobbling his way through it, and he's making mistakes that are human, right? We are not perfect at everything. Like a little bit, he organised like a surprise birthday party for someone, which was beautiful, led with his heart. Did he managed to orchestrate it perfectly with communication? No, but he did a really good job, and his heart was, and he's 14. Like, he's never organized anything. He barely organizes himself to go brush his teeth. Like, it's not, you know, but he did his best. And I said to him this morning, what did you learn? What did you learn from that experience? What did you take away? And he said, I've learned to never do that again, as in don't organise, don't try to be nice. But I knew that he was being like facetious. He didn't actually mean it. But that was a good example of where a lot of people go.
Yeah.
They, like, I wouldn't allow him to. I was like, well, no, what did you actually learn? And we went there from there. But that, honestly, most people will go, well, that didn't work out, I'm never going to do that again. Instead of going, what can I tweak? Because that was actually, my heart absolutely loved where that was going. What do we just need to tweak to tune that so that it is, you know, the highest potential or the perfect example, right? And
I think that's just growth, right? Like, and if we were kind enough to ourselves and supported ourselves enough, like, for example, I'm going to use my retreat because it's a big part of my existence right now. Is everything going to be perfect there? I mean, define perfect, but is it going to be? I'm probably going to have a lot of growth, because to create the most epic experience for everybody each time, and every energy that comes into that space is going to give me a different lot of growth. But if I just walk into it going, this is going to be so much growth, this is going to be awesome, then I would probably not call it a mistake. I'd call it growth.
Yeah.
I'd be like, ooh, there's some growth for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's some growth for me. And I would see it differently, because you know, with Mace this morning, I'm like, oh, those things are going to happen. And it's like, it's a lightness to something like, oh, I made a mistake there, or like, instead, oh, that gave me good growth, so I know what to do next time. Yeah. It allows you to move through the experience, knowing that you're human, you're going to go through growth anyway. Yeah. Be kinder to yourself, support yourself in a way that, you can walk away from that and be like, like, ooh, that was a bit of growth for me. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the feeling too, because I think, like, I was the same as my son when I was his age. Like, I didn't care what people told me. I was going to go physically experience it for myself. And even if that physical experience was negative, I then believed myself, because I was like, oh yeah, been there, tried that. That wasn't ideal. Like, he's exactly the same, right? So if he had asked me for help to organise this party, I would have been all over the communication, who he needed to do what, da-da-da-da-da-da. But he didn't ask me because he wants to do this on his own, which I respect, absolutely. But it was the feeling that he had guilt come up, like that it didn't go perfect or that he's forgotten people or what have you. But there's so much potency in that feeling too, because now he's going to have something to anchor onto. He'll never make those deemed mistakes again, or he'll learn what he needs to learn that, because there's a difference between someone telling you something and you experiencing that level of emotion within your own body. Now that's going to set him up at 14, right? Like he's going to remember those things that he forgot in this example. So there's no wrong, but the physical experience, like, do I believe that his body probably created that perfectly for his own learning experience? Yes. Yeah. And it's, you can deem it however you like, but I think great. What a great experience for a 14-year-old.
Oh, I agree. And it's another one of those things where we look at like the denser emotions and we can be like, oh, I never want to feel that again. But actually we tend to get our most biggest lessons from them or our biggest growth. They propel us to what we would want to do next, so that next time he does decide, oh, I'd love to host this for somebody, he could literally be like, okay, cool. Well, now I know from that growth what I need to make sure I'm all over. That's the most important.
Yeah.
We can't have that value system unless we learn like those things. That's how we get it.
100%. It's a way of him learning himself. So he's forgotten in this example to invite some really crucial people, or he invited them, but the date changed and whatever. So, but why it felt so bad for him was because something that is so important to him in his values was missed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have felt so bad. He would have gone, oh, well. But that's part of learning who you are. He now knows, actually, that is really important. Those people are important. Those relationships are important to me. I really want to prioritize them moving forward. It's all learning about self, right?
Yeah.
Because if that wasn't something that was his heart cared about, he would have been neutral to it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always on a journey in this lifetime. It is the human experience to discover self constantly.
Love it. So our encouragement is be brave enough, courageous enough to follow your heart moment by moment. And if those thoughts come through, those intrusive thoughts that don't make you feel good, then invitation to be more creative with, if your heart's leading you somewhere, how can you support yourself with creative, empowering thoughts that match it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are going to be practicing that this week too, as we always do. So fun week though, following the heart.
I'm very void again right now, so
I feel like we've wrapped it up with that. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We always get just as much out of these.
We do. Yep.
Sending lots of love.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us in another episode of Mandorla. We want to acknowledge your contribution in the co-creation of our new evolved world.
Sending you all so much love, and until next time, remember, you are the creator.